Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to each and every one of you that is joining me this morning. Hey, John, good to see you. Um, I am excited. Yes, I am always excited about this opportunity to get on and uh, share what I know, so I can help others to grow, advance, and get better. So today we're going to have I think we're going to have an exciting time. I am excited about what we're going to be doing, and I'm looking forward to sharing with you. Before we get started, so tell me, where are you calling in from today? Okay. Um, okay. Hi, John. Welcome. Let me turn on my chat so you can we can correspond in the chat. Uh, And while I'm waiting for a few others to join us, let's see, let's get this going here. Right. Okay. So, welcome to the Tax Town Hall 2. This is our second version of the Tax Town Hall. And, the reason why I do this is because we're in the tax season, or right at the end of the tax season. Ordinarily, it would have been completed a week ago, last Tuesday, the 15th. But some of you may not know that it was extended because of the weather conditions. And there are about 7 states that have been given extra time until the end of May, until the end of this month, the 1st of May, as a matter of fact. And in some other areas, it is even extended down to November. But nevertheless, we want to tackle this. And particularly today, I want to talk with you about some issues and problems that some individuals have. Um, so the title of what I'm going to talk about today is centered on from tax stress to tax success. How about that? From tax stress to tax success. Because I want to touch upon some of the stressful situations, some of the challenges, the problems that individuals face, um, from time to time when it comes on to taxes. Now, the there are two groups that I want to specifically talk with today, however, and it is those individuals who are always running behind. They are always late filing, and they suffer the natural consequence of late filing, which is end up owing taxes. There's an interconnection between all of that, but we're gonna go through that to make sure that everyone is heard. Now, I know that, and I know that there are none of you that is on the line that is a habitual tax filer, or perhaps owe huge amount of taxes. So, but we're gonna fix that. So, first of all, I'm gonna just share with you. I'll help you to get an understanding of why certain people end up being what I call an habitual tax late filer, and consequently end up owing. They always have challenges and issues with the taxes. But I'm not going to stop there, because then I'm going to share with you a strategy to kick that problem out the door once and for all. And yes, I'm going to get that problem out once and for all. And then we can fix it. Hold on, I'm getting some. Okay. All right. So, so I'm just looking at my other screen here. A few people trying to get in on some of the other platform, and okay, I think we got that fixed now. Hi, Jimmy. Good morning. Welcome. Morning, Coach. Okay. So we're moving right along, and I was just sharing with you what the flow of it is going to be like today. I'm going to introduce you to a system that will help to solve this problem and eradicate it altogether for you. And then I'm going to touch on the question of when you owe the IRS, what are some of the possible solutions that you have at your finger's tip? And some steps that you can take to avoid this common pitfall. And of course, I'm going to open the floor up to questions so that you can have your burning questions answered. At the end of it all, I will make you an offer. So let me ask you this. How many of you consider yourself do-it-yourselfers? By that, I mean you file your own taxes. I know most people today don't do that, but especially when you're starting out in business, you might feel the need that you want to go ahead and do it yourself. How many of you do that? Okay. So let me ask you this other question. When tax time rolls around, how do you feel? How do you feel when tax time rolls around? Now, okay, I see someone says excited. I know exactly who you are then, Paul. When you're excited, you see there are two kind of feelings that is experienced at tax time. If you feel excited and happy, that means you're a W-2 employee. You get a W-2 and you've already paid your taxes, so now you're looking for the refund. Am I correct? There you go. All right. And now the others, for those that don't feel that way, how do you feel? Depressed? A little bit stressed? Yeah. Yeah. And I know why. But you can confirm this for me. It is because you you know you don't have things all together, and you're trying to put it off. It creates stress, right? Panic, especially the closer you get to the tax day. As a matter of fact, how does it work out for you when it is like that? You just throw your hands up and give up and say, well, let me go find a preparer who can do it for me. And you know what generally happens is you find someone that can do it, but at this late stage of the game, your only option is to get an extension. So you can take the extension, and the cycle begins all over again within the next 6 months with the more time that you're given to file. So what is it that causes this panic, this delay, putting it off, procrastination? We find that there are a couple of reasons for that. Usually it is, the first reason is usually a lack of organization. Okay, lack of organization, because you don't have your stuff together, and oh boy, you now you have to go find your stuff, your paperwork and everything like that you have to get together to get it done. Back in the days, it was like where people would get their receipts and they would put it in a shoebox. And when you go to the tax preparer, you take that shoebox and he's got to sort through all of those. Well, that is kind of outdated now, but still, people are disorganized. And that disorganization, because of lack of proper record keeping, causes that problem. So there is a delay that arises as a result of that. Now, that delay that's what leads to actual preparation, owing taxes. Because you see, once you realize that you haven't done it yet, and one of the other reasons that you defer it is because you owe, but and that's a burden on your head. So you keep putting it off. Now, when you find someone that can prepare it for you, then the other situation is when you take that extension and then you actually find out how much you pay, it's still a problem, because now you got to figure out how to pay that bill. So these are just some of the reasons that the problems that I know that some of you are experiencing. And we want to fix that. But you see, your problem, the problem doesn't stop there, because one thing leads to another. So now you finally got your taxes prepared, only to find that, wow, you owe this huge amount to the IRS. And now that is puts you in a different place. More panic, more stress. So again, you deflect, you put it off, and the next thing you know, it months rolls into years, and then you're getting these letters from the IRS, and you're just not sure what to do. Again, you deflect. So eventually, you go seek help. And this is what happened in a case of one of my clients, John. John owed taxes for 5 years that he didn't pay. And eventually he got that letter from the IRS that says, we're about to levy you. We're going to levy you, put a levy on you. So you have 30 days to respond. Fact of the matter is, he owed almost $12,000. And of that $12,000, approximately 1/3 of that was made up of interest and penalty. You see, when April 15 comes, if you owe taxes and if you did not file, then you get hit with 2 penalties. The first penalty is a failure to file penalty, and that is 5% of the unpaid taxes per month, and that goes up to 25%. The second penalty that you're hit with is the failure to pay penalty, and that's another 0.5% per month of the unpaid taxes, up to 25%. So this interest charge on the unpaid taxes, it accrues daily. And that is why the initial amount of $11,000 ballooned up to what it did, almost $16,000, $16,000 in the case of Robert. I know that's not a good feeling. And that is why I'm going to present a solution to you that can solve that problem altogether. Are you with me? If you're liking what you hear, go ahead and put a 1 in the chat box, and let me so I can see that they're making sense to you. Okay? All right. Thank you. All right. So now let's talk about some solutions. The solution that I want to share with you is what I call the 3 touch point system. Their system that is made up of three aspects, three things, three touch points. Touch point number one is to systematize. That means establishing a structured approach to financial record keeping. You see, the biggest challenge is keeping of those records. So we're going to fix that. The second touch point is to automate. Yes, let the system does the work for you. So you don't have to, and you can spend your time focusing on what is important to you, running your business. The third touch point is to delegate. Delegate, that means you hand over everything to someone who is knowledgeable, has the expertise, and can take care of it. The impact of this transitioning to an individual means that you have relieved yourself of those responsibilities. And now, instead of being reactive, you can be proactive when it comes to your tax management. And therefore, you minimize the risk of accruing a tax debt. So let's dive a little deeper into touch point number one. Touch point number one begins with establishing your bookkeeping foundation. That's the foundation of your system. Selecting and implementing a cloud-based bookkeeping platform. And there are many of them out there. If you're going to be doing it yourself, there are free programs that you can utilize to do this. I don't recommend you do it yourself, because when you do, you'll tend to miss a lot of those deductions that we talked about in the last town hall. And by the way, if you were not on, I have a 23-point touch on the 23-point tax deductions that many people don't know about, and that costs you money. So if you would like to get a copy, then go ahead and just put a 1 in the chat box, and my assistant will make sure that you get it. So touch point number one. The first thing is to implement a cloud-based bookkeeping platform. QuickBooks Online, Xero, Quick Wave app. There are many of them. You can select from one. Next step is, once you've made that selection, the next thing is to customize your chart of accounts that aligns with your business. The chart of accounts, one is a system that sets up the categories that is applicable to you. Those categories are going to be tied to your banking account, your merchant system, so that when you apply the next step I'm going to share with you, then it will be delivered into your chart of accounts, into your system, and your automation takes over from there. So this chart of accounts creates a structure, a structured framework for all your financial transaction that ensures consistency and accuracy. Are you with me so far? So the chart of accounts connects everything and allows them to be organized and systematized. Touch point number two. Touch point number two is automating your transaction recording. So instead of you sitting at the computer and typing in your receipts and your transactions, then you simply use this. And by the way, we all have this. We all have this little device that we never leave home without. This becomes an integral part of your three-touch system. So what you'll do is download the app, the accounting app, mobile version. And there are two things that's going to happen. Number one, when you make a purchase, then you will simply upload that receipt. So I got a Lowe's receipt here where I spent, let me see, $65 and some stuff. I simply go ahead and upload it into my app. And what's going to happen is that the app will put it into your bookkeeping system, and you never have to touch that again. So that's number one. The second part of it is with the sales that you make, income. And when someone makes a purchase from you, then you will it goes automatically into your accounting system and ends up in your chart of accounts. So at the end of the month, that's where touch point number 3 applies. Two things. You go through and you reconcile it if you're doing it yourself, and send all that information over to your tax preparer. That is so it is either you do it yourself, but you send it over to your tax preparer, or you simply print out the reports. And there are 3 reports that you will end up having. Reports are what I call the scoreboard of your system. That's the scoreboard for your system. And those reports are your profit and loss or your income statement. And this statement tells you what is going on in your business. How much money did you make this month? How much money did you spend this month? What was your profit? Did you make a profit? So the profit and loss statement, it tracks your income and your expenses so you can determine your profitability. That's what you do at the end of the month. That's the third time when you touch your accounting system. The second report that you want to look at that it produces for you automatically is your balance sheet. And the balance sheet provides a snapshot of your assets, your liabilities, and your equity. See, there are the balance sheet really tells you where you are in your business, in your life at that point in time. So if you were to liquidate everything that you own, then that balance sheet would tell you what you are worth. So it becomes also your net worth statement. And of course, the third statement that it produces is your cash flow statement. This cash flow illustrates or tells you where your money is coming from and where it goes. And with these statements, it allows you to make clear decisions because you know what you have, where it's coming from, how it's coming, and so you are able to make better decisions financially. Now, the beauty of it is that once you have this system, then each month everything is in where it is supposed to be, and you are now able to um, pull it all together, and so you end up having the records that you need when tax time rolls around at the end of the year. You have everything right there. It's just a matter of um, um, pulling up the total and completing your taxes or sending it on over to your tax preparer. And if your accountant handles it for you, then it's pretty much all there that you have available. Okay. So now we know and understand the system that we have a system in place to accomplish all of this. The next question is uh, uh, how do you deal with the taxes that you owe? How do you deal with taxes that you owe? Well, we talk about the fact that the late filing result in these taxes. I'm going to share with you three, no, maybe more than that. There's approximately five or four or five options that you have. But let's talk about how that taxes tend to grow. Remember, I shared with you Robert's story of how his was 12,000 ballooned up to $16,000. That's because of the interest and the penalties that is accumulating on that debt. So if you are in that situation, then you want to reach out. You want to reach out for help. It is not recommended that you talk to the IRS yourself, especially if you owe taxes. So you need help on that score. And that's what we are here for. Okay, so let me share with you the four options that you have. First, it's what is called an installment agreement. An installment agreement is simply where you agree to, you may not qualify for any of the other options that they have. So it is simply a matter of setting up an agreement that you can pay for it over time through monthly payments. The second is to is what we call an offer in compromise. Now, an offer in compromise, it's a little bit more in depth. It's a bit more detailed, and you have to provide a lot of information to the IRS. The objective of this is to get your tax debt reduced. And what is going to satisfy the IRS is that you are incapable of paying the amount that you do owe. So they will look at your situation, which typically constitute a financial hardship. And they make that determination from that as to how much they will accept. Now, when you get to that point, you can also negotiate with them to arrive at an amount that is more satisfactory with you. So in this situation, you're able to settle the tax debt for less than the amount that you owe. So let me tell you what happened in the case of John that I mentioned earlier. We settled on we made an offer of 45 $2,500, and they accepted that offer of $2,500. And not only did they accept the offer of $2,500, but they allowed for a monthly payment of $60. So that worked out well. That worked out well for him. And so with working together on that, we were able to accomplish this for him. Now, the next offer, the next option is what is called a temporary abatement, penalty abatement. And this is due to financial hardship. And it's where you request that the penalties can be removed under certain circumstances. And there'll be no attempt to collect that debt. So it is as if it is just put to the side and you don't get badgered about it. Periodically, they may check back with you and you will be able to pick up from there and get it handled. So those are some of the ways that the tax debt can be resolved. Now, there are a number of benefits that comes. First of all, it's always good to stay on track and keep it paid. There are times when situation arises that for one reason or the other, you never get around to doing it. By the case of John that we talked about there. Now, I myself had a situation many, many years ago. In fact, that was back in the 80s. And it was a case where I ended up um, having 3 years of taxes undone. Okay. So what I'm sharing with you here is not just theory. It is something that I've lived through. And so here's what happened. I knew that I was going to be getting refunds. I usually get refunds. And I knew I was going to be getting a refund, but I didn't. So I was under a lot of pressure at that time, and I really didn't focus on doing my return because I figured, well, I'll get it in when I get it in. And time runs by pretty fast, if you know what I mean. But what got my attention was the realization that if I'm getting a refund, I will not get a refund if I file 3 years, more than 3 years beyond. So over 3 years, no matter what your refund is, they're not going to give it to you. It might be credited if you owe taxes, but they're not going to send you that check. So with this realization, I went ahead and got mine filed. Luckily for me too, I had the best accountant because he was an older guy. Maybe his tax filing number was like maybe 5 or 6. So he was one of those early guys, and he knew his stuff. Long story short, I ended up for those 3 years, I ended up getting back thousands of dollars. And back in the 80s, that was a lot of money. As a matter of fact, I invested that in fulfilling one of my dreams, buying my first Mercedes. And, as a result of that, I've always driven a Mercedes because that's a very nice car. But for me, it worked out well. Now, for some others, the other side of it is where you have to end up paying. So this is a reason. The reason why I'm sharing all of this with you is because as an entrepreneur, I feel your pain. I feel your pain. I know what you're going through if you fall into any of these situations that I just talked about. So, and I want to help you. When I sold my insurance business years ago and I retired, I did so with and made a commitment that I would take my time to work with entrepreneurs, to help them to develop and grow, to help them navigate the challenges. You see, I've been an entrepreneur for 50 years or so, and I know I've been through pretty much every experience that you can go through. So what really brought it home for me, however, was when I was in the insurance business and I had contractors and other small business operators coming to me for insurance they needed like at the last minute, And when I inquired, well, what's the hurry? They wanted a certificate of insurance. They wanted insurance. And I discovered that based on what they shared with me, see, I've got this contract I'm negotiating, and they say I need insurance, and I don't have any. Or I got the contract, and I've actually done the work. Now I need to go pick up my check, and they say I need to bring my insurance, and I don't have any. So I realized that here were great craftsmen. They knew their stuff. But when it comes to operating a business, they were lacking. So I started working with them to prepare business plans because the first thing that was missing was a business plan. When I ask, where's your business plan? They'd always say, yeah. I'd ask, do you have a business plan? They'd always say, yes, I have it. Well, can I take a look at it? No, it's in my head. No, I can't look in your head. The business plan has to be written. And so I started helping them to write business plans, and that developed into the other needs that they have. So this is also why I'm talking about this particular subject of taxes at this time, because we are at the conclusion of the tax season, and there are still many people who do not have their taxes done. Um, in fact, you have only about less than a couple of weeks to get it done. So it's going to be a hustle, but it can be done. And so I'm throwing this out there to you that if you fall into this category, you need help, then you can come see me for help. Or if you have someone, go get it done, but make sure you get it done, okay? So we want you to take care of, handle your situation. We want you to be ahead of the game. We want you to have success in operating your business. And having a path to run on, a track to run on, makes it more seamless and allow you to have the success that you are seeking. So let me open this up for questions to see if anyone has any questions that that I can answer for you. And if you do have a question, then you can just put that in the chat box. Let's see, on some of this here, I can open it up. Yeah. Okay. While you're thinking about your question and trying to get it in, let me share with you one of the common questions that I get. And it's about the deductions. What is the difference between a deduction and a tax credit? What's the difference between a tax deduction and a tax credit? So there is a basic distinction. Deductions is what actually reduces the amount of your income that becomes taxable. Your taxes are calculated on what is called your adjusted gross income. So the system calculate you put, when you put in all your income, you now arrive at the income that you're going to be taxed on, because it's not everything that you make that's going to be taxed on. Social Security, for example, only a part of it is taxable under certain circumstances. That's another subject. But once you arrive at your adjusted gross income, the tax is calculated based on that. And that is after your standard deduction is taken. Now, whatever the tax is, that is after all your deductions. So you have a standard deduction, which is right around $15,000 now. Then you have other deductions. For the business owner, for the entrepreneur, there are tons of other things that you can deduct. That's what is highlighted in that 23 point deduction that you may be overlooking. So when those deductions are applied, let me give you an example. If you use your car, or truck, in your vehicle in business, the IRS allows you to deduct 67 cents per mile for each mile that you drive in business miles, not on personal miles, not on commuting. 67 cents. So if you did 10,000 miles for the year, then that is $6,700 in deduction. So let's say that your adjusted gross income, your income was, let's say, $50,000. So instead of being taxed on the $50,000, you would be taxed only on 44,000. Okay, that's the deductions. So that's why it's very important to understand the deductions that is available to you. There are tons of them. Another interesting deduction is for the business owner. If you operate from home, if you run your office from home, you can deduct the percentage of your home that you use as an office. That means you can deduct stuff like your part of your mortgage that you pay, part of your interest, or your rent, mortgage or rent, part of your utility bill, light, electric, um, water, and all of those, which normally are not deductible. But if you have an office in the home, then you can deduct many of these, and that goes to reducing your taxes. Now, the tax credit, on the other hand, comes after that. So once it has been determined how much taxes you actually owes, then if you have a tax credit, the credit is applied against that tax. So, for example, your tax bill is $5,000, and you get a credit. You get a tax credit. Let's see, what can you get a tax credit for? Um, the investment in 401k, investment in a retirement plan, that usually goes directly as a credit. Um, there is a child tax credit, stuff like these. All these credits, they go against what you owe. So if your tax bill was $5,000 and you had credits that total to $1,000, then you'd only pay $4,000. So that's the difference there between the credit and deduction. Okay. Right. Okay, didn't see any other question there, so let me just move on to how how can I serve you? How can I be helpful to you? We talk about the 3-touch point system that you can implement. Now, this is a system that I have developed specifically for individuals such as yourself, small business owners and business operators. And I'm inviting you to get a free demonstration of this system. And you can do so by booking a consultation with me in the link that you should see provided there. When you book this free consultation, I am going to take you through a process that will help also to identify some of the other challenges that you are facing. And as a business owner, what are some of the solutions that you can apply to overcome some of these challenges? Yeah, and I'll give you you get a chance to work with me. Or whether it is for a short term or a long term, I have different ways of helping depending on the need that you have. So that's why that session is important, because it's not simply me telling you what to do. Hey, go take this and do this. No, I am going to see where your need lies. What are you struggling with? What are your challenges? What do you want to accomplish? Basically, we take a look at where you're going and what's standing in your way from getting you there, and help you to get there faster and ultimately achieve the objective of you're going in business to be independent, to have financial security, and to get more freedom. So book that strategy session. Is the people who book a strategy session and participate with me, they typically get the results that they're looking for. And one thing that you'll find, I will work with you until you achieve the results. It is your success that counts, and your success gives me success. Your joy gives me joy. So you want to take advantage of that and book that strategy session. The link is, I think I have it up there in the chat. It's, let's see, okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat. HTTPS:/, those two backslashes, and then it's bit.ly/book with Jim. Book with Jim. Here we go. That's the link. And book that strategy session. And let's get together. Let's see how we can help you to accomplish your dreams and fulfill the life that you want to live. We begin with putting the system in place that will help you to avoid tax delay, tax delinquency, tax bills. Get that off of your head, throw it all out the window so you can apply your focus to the business of your dream, running your business, and so you can accomplish what you want to accomplish without those albatrosses around your neck. And then you can go on to expand and do all the other things that you need to do. So if we have any more questions, stick around. Okay. Oh, we have a quiet group this morning. Okay, no problem. Okay. So with that being said, we have no more questions, and I'm going to thank you for taking the time to be here with me, spending your Saturday morning with me, and go have a great day. Looking out the window, it's a beautiful day out there, and make sure you have some fun along the way. I look forward to chatting with you again. Give me a call, 404-288-6500, if you have any burning questions also. Peace out. Talk soon.